The film begins with a pair of grandparents entering their house, then they were surprised that in the house there was a mysterious box. When they are about to open, a psychopath appears behind them. Some time after that we are shown a man named Arkin who helps tidy up the belongings of a family who has moved to a new house. The family consists of a young mother who has a beautiful face named Jill. The young mother has a small child named Hannah, and the young mama's husband named Thomas Arkin worked to help them as he could, making sure the house was safe. He also did not forget to install iron bars for the windows in the house. Because there was a wasp's nest that looked quite large, Arkin asked one of the people who was also working there to solve the problem. After he felt that all his work had been done, he decided to take a break while smoking, but not long ago, a girl who was the first child of the family, named Marisa, arrived. With a little pleasantries, he immediately asked Arkin's cigarette to be smoked. After getting a few puffs from the cigarette, then he entered his house. Looks like the family is going on vacation somewhere that night. Meanwhile, Thomas approached Arkin while giving him money as wages for his work and also giving some bonuses as a form of thanks to Arkin. That night Arkin went somewhere to meet his daughter named Cindy. Do not forget he also brought a small doll as a gift. There was also his wife named Lisa. Then Lisa asked to talk 4 eyes. Lisa said that she had a lot of bills and debts to pay just before midnight. Since Arkin was a responsible husband, he promised to give the money just before midnight. Then Arkin left the two of them. After that Arkin called someone who was his boss. It was discovered that Arkin was a thief. He also asked his superiors for help to provide the tools to commit theft in a house at the beginning of the film, with the proceeds being divided 40% for Arkin and 60% for above. Long story short, Arkin arrived at the house. After only a few steps, Arkin was almost bitten by the guard dog in the house. Arkin easily opened the door of the house, then searched every room, looking for where the safe is stored. After meeting Arkin, he immediately tried to open the safe code, but he realized that someone had come to the house as well. With strong instincts, he was finally able to avoid that person. Despite avoiding that person who turned out to be a psychopath, when Arkin was about to come out, it turned out that his house had been locked, and it was seen that in just a few moments the house had been installed with various kinds of traps that had been prepared by psychopaths. It made Arkin's hand pinched until it bleeds. There are so many traps that make Arkin have to be careful in every move. It seems that the psychopath has also noticed someone else's presence in the house. Almost all rooms have different traps. Then Arkin decided to go to the room under the house. And to his surprise, it was seen that Thomas had been tied up in a very injured condition. Then Thomas explained to Arkin that in his safe there was a gun with bullets on the clothes rack. He didn't forget to tell him the code of the safe. Meanwhile, the condition of the young mother at this time had her eyes closed and could not be opened. He asked Arkin for help to protect his son who was hiding in the house. Although Arkin was initially hesitant to help the family, Ea finally straightened out her good intentions to change her mind from wanting to be a thief to becoming a savior for the family. He asked the young mother to scream for the psychopath to come downstairs, so Arkin could find his son who was hiding in the house. After shouting loudly, the psychopath immediately approached the young mother, and was about to cut her tongue but didn't. Meanwhile, Arkin opened the safe which contained a gun and gemstones which if sold could be used to pay off his wife's debt, then looked for bullets from the gun, but couldn't find them. It wasn't long before he heard small noises, which he believed to be Hannah, turned out to be the grandfather who was in the beginning of the film. The grandfather was put in a box by a psychopath as a collectible. Human collecting psychopath guys. Finally, Arkin left the old man. Then enter a room which turns out that the room has a glue trap that glues it so very strongly, even the cat trapped there can't go anywhere. Because the cat continued to sound, Arkin finally helped the cat out of the glue trap, and threw it at the window, but unfortunately the cat was caught in a psychopathic trap, which made the cat's body cut in half. Shortly after that, the psychopath immediately came to the room, but Arkin managed to hide under the blanket. Not the neighbor's blanket. After feeling safe enough, Arkin finally came out to see the condition of the family. It turned out that Thomas's body had been mutilated by the psychopath. Now only young mother is left. Ea promised to take her out of the house, but because of the shock of seeing her husband's corpse was destroyed, the young mother ran away and caught the psychopath. With all levels of sadism and cruelty, the psychopath immediately sewed the young mother's mouth without anesthesia. Not long after, finally the girl from the young mother went home with her boyfriend, because the psychopath realized that he immediately opened the back door, and the young girl entered with her boyfriend, because she felt that there was no one at home. It's like the world only belongs to the two of them, the others are rented. They also decided they wanted to do steady on the table, but soon the girl saw a psychopath watching them. Feeling pretentious and strong, finally the girl's boyfriend fights a psychopath, which makes him have to die in the death trap of a psychopath. Shortly before being arrested by a psychopath, the girl called the police. Meanwhile, Arjun has managed to open the window in the house for news from there. Don't forget he will also help the girl. But because the girl did not believe in Arkin, she instead took scissors that had a trap from a psychopath that made her die a gruesome death. Because he didn't want to linger, Arkin finally managed to get out of the house. Although he had managed to get out, but he had seen the figure of a small child who was the son of the young mother. Because he couldn't bear if the little boy was tortured by a psychopath, Arkin decided to re-enter the house to help save him. Although at first the little boy was almost caught by a psychopath, Arkin managed to save him, and now they were in a room together. They planned to trap the psychopath by trapping electricity through the water. But the psychopath found out that he threw the old man in the box as bait. Long story short, when Arkin was about to enter the attic to go downstairs, Along with the little boy, Ia was caught by the psychopath. There was a fierce fight that made the psychopath's mask open, but I couldn't see who the psychopath was. Immediately Arkan was beaten unconscious by a psychopath, and when he woke up Arkan was in a state of condition that his body had been given many fishing hooks, which stuck to every skin, from his hands to his back. Don't forget the psychopath also took Arkan's teeth by hitting them with a hammer. It was less sadistic. He also attached insects to Arkan's stomach, which made him feel pain. And thank God at that moment the police came to the house, but the police were alone. Feeling something strange, the police immediately checked around the house and the psychopath came out. Only a moment later it turned out that the policeman was immediately bitten by a dog and made him die in vain. Meanwhile Arkan felt the pain in his body. He tried to release every fishing line that stuck to his skin, and managed to escape the psychopath's trap. Knowing the condition of the young mother was dead and had also been smeared with so much kerosene, she believed that a psychopath would set the house on fire. With the help of his dog, the psychopath immediately chased Arkan and the little boy. After successfully trapping the psychopath's dog, then a fight broke out between Arkan and the psychopath, which made the psychopath fall down the stairs. And the house keys managed to get Arkan, not giving up until there, the psychopath using his AK-47 weapon. Ia shot at Arkan, which turned out to be a reflection of the image through the mirror. And that's when Arkan lowered the psychopath's trap that made the psychopath get stabbed by many knives. But Arkan wasn't sure whether the psychopath was really dead, though. But he immediately ran out of the house at the same time. It turned out that a lot of police cars had arrived and Arkan immediately tried to stop them, but just got hit. Eventually they were both rescued by the police. When in the car, Arkan asked the police, "What time is it?" Then want to answer the question. Their car was hit by an unknown car. Who was it? And guess who? The one who hit him was the psychopath, who was all-powerful, and immediately took Arkan and put it in a box and took it with the psychopath's private car and graduated.